Okay, so I can't count this. All right, so Kyler just, here's a tweet that he sent out on March 12th. It's him as a youth football player wearing a white uniform with purple lettering that says Vikings, but that's not that's not actual.
That's not the same thing.
That is not the same thing. That's a team that he was on, that it was the Vikings. I'm going to need to see Kyler Murray in a Brett Favre jersey. Hey, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. I'm Dan Hanzus with my buddy Marc Sessler, Justin Graver on the ones and twos, little three-man weave as we begin our first week post-free agency, or I should say the first wave of free agency. There will still be signings that come down the pike this week, but the sex appeal of that particular phase of the league calendar has gone south. Like being at a bar in your 20s, Mark, and it's closing time, and you're looking for anything you can get at that point. That's where free agency is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that the shows made themselves last week, and now it's like we're hoping for inspirational news and items, but I think that we can always create our own fun if we.
Is that how it works? Our show, we wait for inspirational items. I like that.
I mean, it helps.
Yeah,
it makes help.
The show. Yes, the actual production of the show. You've said it all, Mark, as you always do. A lot of people said it all over the weekend. I know you did. Right across the street, Mark. You are unbelievable. Living in Hollywood, living the dream. On the night of the Academy Awards, also known as the Oscars. I'm sure you watched it and had a great time doing it.
I love watching it. It is cool. It's across the street. This part of town becomes completely under siege. And I saw a story this morning that they towed over 100 cars that were not illegally parked.
Certainly yours was one of them.
No, mine was actually not for once. And this tow yard of note made over $40,000 off of this. So.
Seems like a bit of a scheme. I went to a Oscars-related party, like a small group of close friends here in town, and I continually, as an ongoing bit, kept jamming Tinseltown's Biggest Night into the conversation. Imagine being my actual friend.
It sounds like you. Were you all right with some of the bigger winners, or were you nonplussed by some of what went down?
I was overall fine with the Oscars. I think that One Battle After Another is one of the best movies, period. Especially if you break it down to 21st century. I thought it was a criminal offense that Paul Thomas Anderson had not gotten a statue. I wasn't even aware of that from the Academy until Sunday night, and now he got 3. I rewatched One Battle. I saw it in the theaters, loved it, watched it again, and from frame 1 till the closing scene with American Girl from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers kicking in, a masterpiece. So I'm very glad that that movie got the love it deserved.
I totally agree. I was rooting.
I love this music, by the way, too. It's inspiring. It's like, speaking of inspiration, go ahead.
I was really rooting for it to win cinematography, and I was obviously rooting for Leo. So it's not like an anti anyone else who won. Michael B. Jordan's great, but I just was like, I feel like with this stuff, it's like we can't let Leo win more than once for like the wrong movie, The Revenant. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, this guy is the biggest star, like, and final star in Hollywood.
I totally agree with that, and I think that Leo is now at the stage where they're not going to give him the statue unless he absolutely gives everyone no choice. And they gave him one for The Revenant, which was great. But who won? Michael B. Jordan? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. I thought Sinners was okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's the Leo thing. I'm just sitting there watching him like, how many more of these incredible years do we have with Leo?
Isn't it amazing how he has essentially now replaced Jack Nicholson as like the icon, and as Jack has receded from Tinseltown, as it were, in these type of events, here he is. And Sean Penn with kind of like a incredible move of winning his third Oscar and just no-showing the event, which
absolute no-show.
We all, whatever side you are on the political spectrum, I think we can all agree a 14-minute Sean Penn monologue about his beliefs would have been difficult to stomach. So maybe everybody wins there, including Sean Penn.
Yeah, I thought it was up Sean Penn's avenue to totally ghost on the whole thing.
All right, we'll get to some NFL news that's out there, but since it is coming off Oscars weekend, why don't we check in? Because I don't know if you knew this, Mark, and it's a little weird, but you know how award shows sometimes will have certain awards they give off camera because they're trying to manage the program, and keep it from becoming overly long. They actually had some NFL-related categories,
love this.
So they asked to use our show as a method to hand out and allow those winners to give their acceptance speeches. So I thought that was pretty cool, and all that was strangely sent directly to our podcast email. And now Justin is going to tee up the winners who are all with us today.
Well, I feel like we've been honored correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty exciting moment for Heed the Call here. Got some big pop, and let's get right to it, huh? Now, accepting the award.
Well done, Justin.
For, seriously, how am I still here? It's Eagles wide receiver, A.J. Brown.
Like, dude, have I not made myself clear that I don't want to be here anymore? Have you seen my body language? Did you see the look I gave Sirianni in the tunnel? Don't laugh. This is not a joke. Have you met or are you aware of Nick Sirianni? Dude, I'm the guy who was literally reading the self-empowerment book on the sideline during a playoff game. That's a little on the nose. And that was the year we won the Super Bowl. I have leaked my discontent to every possible person I can think of. Do I need to call long distance and get Dov Kleiman on the line? I'll do it. I'll go full Israel. I don't care what it takes. SEAL Team 6 my ass out of here if necessary. I'll do anything. I'll do literally anything. I'll play any position. I will be your gunner. I'll be the guy that scoops up all that gross medical tape that everybody tapes around their appendages and dumps in the locker room after the game. I will be your long snapper. I will be your Don Mulbach. Just get me a new head coach and a new team and a fresh start, and thank you to the Academy. All right, what else do we have, Justin?
All right, next up, accepting the award for... Wait a minute here. I thought I was a big deal still, and people wanted me. They really wanted me, but nobody does, and now I'm going to go back to blocking people on Twitter/X. Derek Carr!
You know, man, this is some bull beans. I'd like to thank absolutely nobody. I was certain a Super Bowl team would hear my messaging and listen to my podcast and come running on down to fetch me and help me lead them to where I know I can lead them. But my phone remains hushed. This is some bull beans, you hear me? Thanks for the trophy, though, I guess.
Total bull bean scenario.
Absolutely. Got a feel for it, Derek.
At least he has that podcast where the brothers are touching knees. You know what I mean?
It's a threat to us that we understand. Well, congrats, Derek Carr.
I believe there's another one, Mark, that we have on that you're aware of, right? Justin, let's go with another one over on Mark Boulevard.
Yes, all right. This is now up. Accepting the award for One sure sign that an antichrist slowly rises to rid individuals and families of shared experience and common good, namely on holidays originally based around either a spiritual concept or a commemoration of our nation's heritage, slowly replacing togetherness with our new god, known as darkness, gambling, and television ratings. It's the NFL Schedule Makers!
Wow.
And here to accept the award is behind-the-scenes unnamed office worker number 422. And thank you on behalf of 345 Park Avenue and, of course, our glorious commissioner. I just want to say how excited we are about sharing football games every day of the week during planned family holidays and what used to be and what can't be anymore. Isolated special times with your loved ones. What our actual and beautiful endgame will look like come 2032 will be glorious. Thank you and God bless the NFL.
That's how you hold on to your job in that building.
That's correct.
There you go.
And finally,
No, I was going to say, like, that's how you hold on to the job. Stay in line. Have your bread plate out and your cup of water. Do your work in your cubicle.
Head down.
Head down. Ask no questions. And then get that paycheck every 2 weeks. Well done, worker number who?
422.
Well done.
Very special.
Fun fact, I was worker number 423 and Mark was worker 421.
Yeah, and they decided they didn't want those two employees to be part of that operation at this point. And
They're called number vacancies.
Yeah. Human capital.
All right, what else we got? One more award.
All
Auxiliary
right.
award.
And finally, accepting the award for Everything's Fine. I'm totally fine. Nothing's changed. Everything's okay. Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy.
You would think this would bother 9. I get it. A weaker person might crumble if their boss just hired their replacement before they fired you. Whatever. Don't care. Because that's how 9 operates. And you dorks who never played the game wouldn't understand. Iron sharpens iron. By the way, dinguses, how many letters in iron? 4. What's 4 times 2? 8. What's 8 plus 1? As in QB1. That's right, bitch. 9. The new guy? He's half the man I am. I'm serious. I snuck into the facility on Friday and measured it. Here's some more math for you pencil pushers. Why would 9 be worried about a 4.5? Duh! Get it? Half. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have like 9 things to do, so bite me. No, don't you dare play me off. What is this? This microphone dropping into the floor. What is this? 9 is a competitor. 9 will remember this. See you at the Lombardi Trophy presentation, dweebs. Dinguses. Unbelievable that we had access to this auxiliary Oscars, strangely in the football category, Mark.
It's to me, it's one of the highlights of our podcasting career to be seen as the absolute target where this should occur, and the Oscars were graceful enough to have us do this. So,
do we? What about? Are you okay with J.J. McCarthy's headspace right now?
I mean, to get an award after 10 NFL starts is an accomplishment. I don't know if he's going to have 10 more NFL starts.
Right.
So get it while you can.
Well, he's got a little bit of an edge to him, and that's like he said, he's a competitor.
Very mathematical. That surprised me a bit. On point mathematically.
Well, he's 9. You can't go by a number and then not understand numbers.
I'm seeing that the full picture there.
Got it. Great. We're all on the same page. All right. I think we'll talk a little bit about Noin, but more specifically his half his size replacement who spoke on Thursday, I believe.
9 comes out
So stay right there. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we get into the news. Post free agency. Stay right there.
Ever had a great idea for a product or business but had no clue where to start selling it? That's where Shopify comes in.
That's right, Mark. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and about 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from brands just getting started to major household names like Gymshark and Allbirds. It makes launching your own online store surprisingly simple. You can start with hundreds of ready-to-use templates to design a beautiful storefront that matches your brand style. And once you're up and running, Shopify helps you move faster with built-in AI tools that can write product descriptions, create page headlines, and even enhance your product photography.
Plus, everything lives in one place, from inventory and payments to analytics, so you're not juggling multiple platforms just to run your business. See less carts go abandoned and more sales go with Shopify and their Shop Pay button.
I love that sound. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/HTC. Go to shopify.com/HTC. That's shopify.com/HTC. All right, we are back. Holding the 2025 Telly Award, Sessdog.
You know what? That's on a high shelf in my apartment. And at one point I looked at it, I was like, what is that? And I completely forgot that we had won that. It was like, it arrived in a box one day, like weighing like 25 pounds, but it's a...
That's the cool way to kind of process that and put that message out there, Mark.
I Sean Penned that a little bit.
I don't totally believe you, but I like the idea. Is like, what is that shiny award sitting here? I don't even
genuinely-
remember which one it was.
No, it's not, because it's not a shelf full of awards. It was just like, it's out of sight. Like, I literally forgot this object was in my home, but I'm thrilled that it is.
Right. And the people of the telly industries, we are very thankful for recognizing our show on its maiden voyage.
Keep building bridges.
Keep building, keep building. All right, let's get caught up and do some news.
Once my agents let me know that the Jets were an option, it was a no-brainer.
All right, that's DeMario Davis, one-time Jet, then long-time Saint, now back with the Jets. And as Justin felt compelled to jam that into the show, pitching it in all different manners.
Probably 12 times today he pitched
because
it.
How funny that a player would want to be on the Jets. Ha ha. Bring back the laugh track. There you go, Justin. That's just for you. There you go. How we doing with that draft board? Is there something we could do for you in season 3 of Heed the Call, Justin, to maybe speed up the process on some of the drops?
Yeah, it's a good question. If anyone doesn't know, I just have like a Finder folder on my MacBook that's just like filled with literally hundreds of drops.
A Finder folder.
But I'm in the process of transferring those drops to a soundboard app on my iPad that will allow me to display more at once with little categories. So it's just like click, click, bang. I just haven't finished that process.
Way to demystify the process there.
Right. Yeah. Let's expedite the process is what I would say. But anyway.
I'll do that.
No, that's fine. Justin said that it went viral, Mark, that people were on fire about DeMario Davis making that comment. To me, I think he has respect for Aaron Glenn, who also coached him in New Orleans. But again, lol Jets and all that. If people enjoyed it, I'll let people enjoy it.
That one annoys me because this is someone who was with the Jets. He knows what he's getting back into and is choosing to do it again. So it's like, this isn't we're not slapping each other's knee about the jokes here against the Jets on this one. I didn't love the response by the public, which I often don't.
Or my producer. But I'll get even when we get to the Titans uniform reveal. How about that?
He shall.
Skeletor laugh. All right, let's get into it. Kyler Murray. It's official. He's a Viking. Annoyingly, this happened right after we finished on Thursday. And Murray spoke at the Vikings facility, and here he is explaining. This one got my radar up a little bit, Mark, explaining that this was kind of a match made in heaven because, after all, Kyler Murray was a huge Vikings fan growing up.
ever since I started playing tackle football. I was 7 years old. Genuine fandom. Ran deep, Vikings gear through and through. A lot of purple in my household. I don't want to bring it up right now, but maybe later another day. It was a moment. I'll bring it up anyways. Whatever. I cried real tears whenever Brett threw that interception. I cried real tears that day.
He's referring, of course, Mark, to the 2009 NFC Championship game when Brett Favre, in his first year in Minnesota, threw that overtime interception against the Saints in one of the craziest games that I remember watching. One of the most brutal games you'll ever see. Brett Favre took a vicious beating. That was prime Bountygate era Saints winning in overtime, and then, of course, winning the Super Bowl over the Colts a couple weeks later. Nice little hook for the Kyler Murray. Here's one thing, and maybe I missed it, and if it's out there, Justin, you could let me know, or Mark. I just need to see it. If he was a huge Vikings fan, I'd like one photo from his youth.
Little bit of proof. There was so much purple in the home.
Right.
There's got to be photos.
Grew up and he wore the jerseys and everything. I would think Viking social media, as an example, would probably reach out to Kyler and be like, "Hey, do you have any of those photos? We could fly it up there on social." I'm gonna kind of need to see it. But yeah, go ahead.
I would say. I tend to believe that this is true, obviously, but if it weren't, and he were making up the entire concept that he grew up as a Vikings fan, that's next level madness for an opening press conference, and I find that more enjoyable as a concept.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it as a white lie. But it'd be funny if it were exposed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
As for that situation, we kind of already touched on it a couple times last week, so we don't have to dwell on it. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that shakes out now. J.J. McCarthy, as we heard at the top of the show, feels pretty confident that he'll be okay. But at the same time, it seems quite apparent to me that the Vikings have soured on McCarthy and are ready to turn the page and are hoping that Kyler can step in and recapture some of the magic with the QB whisperer. Okay, so I can't count this. All right, so Kyler just, here's a tweet that he sent out on March 12th. It's him as a youth football player wearing a white uniform with purple lettering that says Vikings, but that's not actual.
That's not the same thing.
That is not the same thing. That's a team that he was on, that it was the Vikings. I'm going to need to see Kyler Murray in a Brett Favre jersey, or who are the stars of the 2009 Vikings? This is Percy Harvin. I'm going to need a little bit more than just his youth football team. You know what I mean? This does not put to bed the conspiracy.
It does. And again, if you were able to source this type of photo, there should be no end to him out with friends in Vikings gear. I think you're right. This mystery, it's just begun.
I'm not trying. Adrian Peterson. We don't have a Adrian Peterson jersey with Kyler Murray. I feel like I need to see it. I just need to see it.
It's inexcusable if you cannot produce this soon.
I'll go as far as saying the fact that he put that out on social media is more the smoking gun that this might be erroneous.
I think it only adds to the yes.
By the way, that 2009 Vikings, it was actually January of 2010, I believe. That game, I was at my Uncle Ed's house because that was the second game. The early game was Rex Ryan and the Jets against Peyton Manning and the Colts in the AFC Championship game. A game the Jets had an early lead in, and then they had slipped away in the second half, and they got beat. And I was with all Jets fans for the most part, and I remember my Uncle Ed making some of the strongest cocktails during that game. So being pretty drunk by the time that game ended, and then having a couple more afterwards, lamenting the loss. And then my cousin Eddie saying, "Hey, you want to go outside and have a cigar?" And then having a cigar while very drunk and very depressed, going back inside the house, watching the NFC Championship game. And then on the drive back to my parents, my dad was driving, was with my brother also, asking my dad to pull over on Route 59 so I could vomit because I drank so much and smoked an entire cigar. So that is not my favorite memory, NFL memory, that night in general. So I guess I have my own story connected to the NFC title game.
You got bounty gated.
A little bit. Anyway, here's Kevin O'Connell. He told reporters on Thursday evening about his conversation with Noin, J.J. McCarthy. I talked to him this week. We had a great conversation, as we have most of the offseason, about the good work that he's done. He's focused on what's out in front of him personally, and he's attacking that every single day. He's going great. The only question I have, Mark, is if are they going to publicly make this appear to be an open competition this summer, or are they going to be more honest with the outside world / themselves and just turn this offense over to Kyler Murray, install JJ as the backup, and then see what happens from there?
I would much rather they just be clear about it. For as much as anyone, JJ McCarthy, like, don't put him into a false one-on-one with Kyler Murray if it's just not. I don't think you go and get a player like Kyler Murray if there is a real competition where he's going to lose. I just don't. I think like this feels like the JJ McCarthy journey is over before it started. If let's say that if Kyler Murray went A to Z starting this season, you're entering year 4 of JJ McCarthy's rookie contract with 10 starts under his belt. I just don't see what the plan would be there. You're not going to suddenly turn it over to him. And you can say all you want about how he's learning about the offseason process and all this business. You're trying to show respect to him, and I get that. But they clearly in-house, like the GM has been fired. They don't view this as the future at the quarterback position. Their entire offseason is about going and getting his replacement. If anything, I think Kyler Murray can work here and work well.
Yes, I'm not. I think, listen, and I was texting with a Vikings buddy over the last weekend, and he was still kind of in denial about how everything played out with McCarthy and Darnold and Jones and Rodgers last year. And it's like, let's face it, like that was a devastating decision by the organization in a lot of ways. And I even, pointing out like that decision that directly led to the Seahawks, finding the quarterback they needed, and then around, with a great team around Sam Darnold as well, winning the Super Bowl. Like in terms of personnel decisions backfiring for the Vikings, that's going to stick to that organization for a long time. And then I think, what's the last time the Vikings had a kind of what was seen as a devastating personnel decision? They also created a champion with the famous Herschel Walker trade all those years ago when they got the all-pro running back from the Cowboys, sent all those first-round picks. Walker never really worked out for the Vikings, and the Cowboys wisely used that draft bounty to build a dynasty. So for the Vikings, a team that's still looking for their first Super Bowl title, they're star-crossed, and that there's no way around it. And McCarthy becomes part of the lore around the Vikings in that regard. Let's see if Kyler Murray, because getting back to your point, Mark, like I agree, like considering everything considered, is a bad situation for Minnesota. To their credit, they're pivoting out of a bad decision and trying to fix it rather than digging in their heels and saying, it's got to be J.J. McCarthy, because look at all the bad stuff that happened in the past 12 months. Kyler has the tools. Now he has the coach and a more functional organization overall. Let's see what happens. The
most bizarre thing that could happen to Minnesota next, because first-round quarterbacks are failing all over the league. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But let's say they decide to be more direct here, and they ship J.J. McCarthy to fill in the blank, maybe the Cardinals, right? And it's like J.J. McCarthy goes and succeeds somewhere else. Then they've been Sam Darnold by the guy that got Sam Darnold to begin with. And it's like, that would feel very Vikings-esque. I hope that's not how that plays out.
Meanwhile, let's talk about another veteran player, Mike Evans. Yes, now a member of the 49ers. That's going to take some getting used to. That one really surprised. When I think about like what was the biggest surprises of free agency week, I'm really surprised the Bucs didn't do what they had to do to keep him in the building. And maybe he wanted to go and have a final chapter somewhere else. But in a league where it's increasingly rare for a player to not like play his entire career in one spot, hell, even literally Tom Brady, coincidentally, left the Patriots and went to the Buccaneers to finish his career, and he got that ring, another ring, and now, of course, Mike Evans is trying to do the same thing with the 49ers. Here he was in his introductory press conference for San Francisco.
A team that always compete, even with the injuries last year. I think they went 13-4. I mean, I feel like they were one piece away, and I think that I'm that piece. And I look forward to coming here and improving that.
So he's one of the NFL players that has not realized that the NFL has moved on to a 17-game regular season. I'm sure that's not true, but they were 12-5.
Yes, they were 12-5. I don't know. Has anybody reached out or gotten in touch with Baker Mayfield about losing Mike Evans?
I think that's the most annoying aspect because those two worked together so well. And, you know, there's that moment when Evans got his 1,000 yards because of Baker and that the final moments of that regular season. And it's like he just fit in Tampa. I don't know why they didn't keep him either. I mean, and you're trading him to what is essentially, or you lose him to what is essentially a playoff type rival that you might face Mike Evans in a key moment down the road.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have this conversation a little down the road, but like what is the state of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now? Todd Bowles kept his job, which I found maybe a little bit questionable. He's coming back, but now obviously Mike Evans is gone, and they have to find a way to make it work. But he said it was always going to be hard to leave Tampa. Football-wise, this was the best spot for sure. I've always appreciated how the Niners went about their business on the football field. So there you go. Weird. Also weird. Travis, we're still doing this, huh?
I know.
Travis Etienne. He is now a member of the New Orleans Saints, and he used his platform of his introductory press conference to again tell people how to pronounce his last name. Travis?
So growing up, it's Travis Etienne. So it'd be like Achane. And that's how you always said Travis Etienne. But when I went to college, I kept telling them my name like every day. And like after like 4 weeks, they just couldn't get it. So I'm like, man, it's Etienne. Like how you see it is how you say it. So that's how that became. And it kind of took off because it was easy for the pronouncers to say it. I didn't have to just tell them. I didn't have to correct them every day to say my name. And just when I kind of just started learning more about my last name and how it came about and things like that, it just kind of stuck and made sense. But I'm very much open to being Travis Etienne again, just being myself. I don't have to correct people here on how to say my name each and every day, and I kind of love that, and that's just get back to me.
I really like that quote. I'm very much open to being, let me get this right, Travis again.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have another
I never had a chance at that. I'm glad he did this. I feel like he's done this before, unless I'm thinking of a different player, where he tried to explain it. I might be thinking of somebody else, but
I don't think so. This I thought this came out of left field, but
Justin, was there another player, even a running back maybe, where he had to... No, Bijan, like that one was one we struggled with a little bit. But then he really kind of played a dipsy doodle on us because he, in different interviews, gave us two different pronunciations of his first name. But Achan, I could do that. But now we have two Achans playing running back, and that's a little tricky. So, Mark, I think in the end, podcasters are the losers here.
We are. I went back and watched this Clemson tape to be like, was it an NFL thing where he went to the Jaguars and their PR staff just allowed this fable to continue on and on? But all the Clemson announcers were calling it Etienne too. And if you look at the spelling of Etienne, it's not as if it's not like it's Smith. It's not an absolute certainty to the reader of how to say his name. So there would have been ample space to correct this over the course of many years, and it's pretty deferential to allow someone to just say your last name wrong for what is almost a decade now.
I will say this, Mark. Like, you have a pretty easy last name to pronounce, Sessler. That's a tough one to get wrong, right?
Yes.
My name is not quite in that category. In fact, I kind of see where Travis is coming from here. Like,
right.
For many, many years at NFL Media, like, Damashek would call me Hanzus, or Hanzus, I think it was. And then many people in the company, based on Damashek saying my name, and to Dave's credit, I can't get on Damashek, Dave was amplifying our names. He was the only one that was in a position of power within the broadcasting division to be saying our names and other people hearing it. So then everyone just assumed that's how you pronounced my name, which is Hanzus. And then it got to the point where even to this day, like when our buddy Andrew Siciliano, who is like one of the most polished broadcasters literally in the industry, sports or otherwise. I mean, I just saw him at the Olympics for NBC doing live studio coverage, still calls me and mispronounces my name. And I just, at a certain point, I didn't correct people.
You
I was
can't
just
push
like,
back.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You know, if that's easier, it's not the worst thing. I'll let it slide. So I get where you're coming from, Travis.
But you could be in a similar support group with him. I mean, Dave called me Mr. Fancy Pants, and a lot of people thought that was my name. So that was hurtful.
That is, I still view you in that way. I think that's just a great way to describe Mark. Yes, Justin.
I have one other thing that's going to make this situation more complicated, is that Travis's little brother, Trevor A.J. or Etienne, plays in the league now for the Panthers. And it's like, was he just cool with everyone copying how they pronounced his older brother's name? How does he feel about changing it? What if he still wants to be Etienne? And then we have two guys who are brothers with the same last name, but you don't even say them the same way. I don't know. There's a whole can of worms open.
I hope that happens. Let's really get weird. And someone asks Trevor about it, and he says, no, it's Etienne.
Kyler Murray's not a Vikings fan. Trevor, the Etienne's, or someone's lying about the last name.
Speaking of the Panthers, here's a former Panther, Rico Dowdle, who says he already has this season's Panthers-Steelers game circled on his calendar.
With the Panthers on the schedule this year, should we already go ahead and circle that one?
Yeah, it's definitely circled. It's definitely circled for sure.
A little bit of a trope alert, Mark. Circle that calendar. I'm playing my old team. But I get it. You circle that calendar.
Trope alert.
I don't know who's still doing that, because our calendars are typically lodged inside of our iPhones. But I will say one thing for him. When he played Dallas with the Panthers, he put up 183 yards on the ground and 56 through the air and sort of destroyed them. So maybe he's bent on revenge, and that lifts him up. But I feel like it was a bit of a leading question where he's just sort of giggling off with a yes. So.
Yeah, I think it helps out everybody, honestly, in a way, like the beat reporters and everybody. We need something to write about. And so say that, and then that could be the lead of the Rico Dowdle conversation point, because, like, what else are we going to talk about? I mean, I guess you could get excited about Rico Dowdle. He's had his moments, and certainly he parlayed that into a new deal with the Steelers. But, like, Rico Dowdle joining the Steelers doesn't make me more excited about the Steelers offense. In fact, I feel like it was almost fated that this era of Steelers football needed Rico Dowdle to be on the team at some point, and now here he is.
Yeah, I don't tend to think that you're circling it on your calendar.
Yes. What else is in the news? Oh, this was interesting. Speaking of the Buccaneers social media team has been duped. Love that word, duped by the fake Emeka Egbuka account, tagging it nearly 60 times before it was suspended Wednesday, following Wednesday's post that asked, "Is CTE even real?"
Come.
And Mike Florio on a quiet Friday, of course, Florio's got to pound out a post on this. The below account, here it is. The below account is neither owned nor operated by Emeka Egbuka. See, Gronk really made this name, speaking of names and pronunciations. I never thought about it until this.
He's in your
now
head.
I can't stop thinking about it. It is in no way affiliated with Emeka or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The gold-checked Buccaneers communications account posted on Twitter, but 60 times it was first tagged. So whoever was running that account, Sessy, was like probably having a great time. If you're somebody who, let's talk about this, Sessler. If you're somebody who like makes it a personal passion project or perhaps even a profession to pretend to be other people online, this is like to get tagged dozens of times by an official team account. That's like winning the Super Bowl, right?
In that career choice space, absolutely. And you got to, if it happens once, it would be like a Super Bowl win. But the idea that it's happened dozens of times, I was thinking about this, like, there's like 200 people inside that organization with so many checks and balances about if we're going to use our players on social media, there's all these rules. Like, how do you get this far down the road with the player not realizing that this is happening, no one telling him, and the actual social media department? Like, let's say that we put out a fake tweet about Connor Orr. He would know within an hour that happened, right?
Oh, especially Connor, yes.
Especially Connor, yeah. But it's like, how does it get this far? It's
old Control F Connor Orr.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, he would know within seconds. No, Florio also points out rightly that, people who have pointed out since Elon Musk purchased Twitter and renamed it X and all that, it's gone downhill in a journalistic sense. And one of the biggest problems is that you can now buy check marks. Like it used to be, you would get a blue check mark if you could prove or had some type of backing from your publication or this or that. There was checks and balances, and then that helped you as the user know who to trust and who not. But now you could buy
out the window.
It was just they turned that into, and it is a great / horrifying like indicator of the direction of media and how it became politicized and turned into a culture war. And in this case, you don't know what to trust anymore because everything seems like it's for sale, even a blue check mark. And so great. It lines Elon Musk's pockets while we get confusion for the team accounts. But maybe
does someone get fired for all that going down the way?
Someone might get promoted for it.
You're right.
Jesus. Oh, what a nightmare and what a mess. All right. Let's see. What else? This is interesting. I think, don't quote me on this, but maybe I'm literally asking you to quote me on this. I think I floated when we did the, things to watch for, predictions ahead of free agency in the new league year, when I talked about the Rams as somebody to keep an eye on. I think I floated A.J. Brown to them, and the idea that I know that they have Davante Adams there with, of course, Puka as well. But just keep an eye on him. Who knows? Maybe they would be interested in A.J. Brown, who you heard at the top of the show, wants out of Philadelphia. Per league source, this is Mike Florio reporting. Per league source, the Rams, while talking about a possible trade for Brown, were pursuing the possibility of trading Davante Adams. And that would be a massive trade, obviously, to pair a superstar in A.J. Brown with a super duper star in Puka Nacua for a team that has win now written all over them. It would also make it a little bit messier, I would imagine, for the Rams to get a future deal done with Puka Nacua, unless, and remember what I got aggregated for, they aren't planning to pay Puka Nacua another contract. Anyway, so I don't know if any of this is still in play, but the Rams being connected to A.J. Brown is, at the very least, interesting, Sessy.
It is. Ian Rappaport noted that this probably has a less chance of happening now, that the Patriots are that true target for A.J. Brown. One of the reasons is that over the weekend, because Davante Adams was meant to make $24 million in 2026, and like over the weekend, $6 million of that became roster bonus guaranteed, and I think it kind of took the deal away. I don't think this is going to happen. But with the Rams, it's like, we'll see. We'll see what they do. But is A.J. Brown an upgrade over Davante Adams in the Rams system? From what we know that Davante Adams, who I think led the league in touchdowns a year ago, I don't know if it's an A and B switch for me.
I get it. And Davante Adams is, a perfect fit for what the Rams do, and obviously had great chemistry with Matt Stafford. But Adams is an older player who has struggled to stay on the field at times, certainly missed extended times. And even when he came back last year or this year in the playoffs, didn't seem quite himself after he went down with the hamstring injury, whereas A.J. Brown is younger. I think he's a more dynamic player at this stage. I think he is the better wide receiver.
I do too, but I pack in like there's an Eagles part of this because the Rams do things differently. But like A.J. Brown, is it multiple years that he's happy there, or does he just become unhappy? I don't know. I think A.J. Brown has his own risk attached to him. A.J.
Brown seems like one of those guys where you're going to get the honeymoon period, and then you're probably going to want to get out. But again, like that makes the Rams a perfect place for him, right? They're a team
they just need the honeymoon.
This championship window right now with Matthew Stafford is now. It's in the here and now, and it would be another all-in move by the Rams. So I still wouldn't rule it out, even if right now it doesn't seem like it's happening. But it is obviously notable that the Rams reportedly kicked the tires and looked into it.
I mean, that makes it like still a possibility. I'm with you.
All right, let's take a break, and we will finish up the news. Were you born between January 7th and April 23rd of exactly 1980? Well, we've got a show for you.
That's right, Dan. The Throwback Podcast is almost impossibly still alive. The Terry Schiavo of Bosom Buddy Side Projects, our latest episode focuses on the music of our college years at the turn of the 21st century.
Yes, Bob, this episode had it all. The music of our university youth, proper etiquette in nightclub dancing, multiple references to quadruple XL John Popper harmonica vests, and of course, everybody's favorite and a personal staple of our content, first-person recollections of the September 11th terrorist attacks.
Somehow this is a music podcast.
Kind of. And it's all exclusively available on the Heed the Call Patreon. And it's free this week to anyone who wants to check it out.
Free, even if you don't want it. It's kind of like that terrible U2 album. It might just be there.
Exactly like that, Bob. Throwback Podcast on Patreon. GFY.
I love it.
Oh, look at that. Throwback Podcast, Patreon, free this week if you want to check it out, a little preview content before it goes back into its tier at patreon.com/heed the call. Ceci, what was the music that defined your fractured college years? I know you went to about 14 different colleges and universities before obtaining your diploma. I don't even know if you obtained a diploma, honestly. I assume you did.
I don't know if I did.
But what were you listening to back then?
It's interesting because I definitely, you mentioned like John Popper's vest. I was obviously a Blues Traveler person. But I roomed in my first year of college at Miami of Ohio with a high school friend of mine named Pete Carvalho, who was the most obsessed Dead fan I have ever met. This was back in the day where it's cassette tapes, and he had like one of those giant wood paneled thing that would hold like 400 cassette tapes, but he had like 5 of them, and they were all from live shows. He would call a hotline every night just to find out what the Dead had played, and we would play on like a 4 cassette stereo the Dead 24/7. And so I became a massive Dead fan, and it like then you got people. One other thing is like that's when Dave Matthews became popular in the college circuit, like around 92 or so. And my friend was going to UVA and sent me a Dave Matthews tape, and I played it for a bunch of people, and all these girls were like, "This guy's weird. He sounds weird, and I don't like him." And then a month later, they're all blasting him out of their like dorm windows. So it's like, come on. But anyways, that's sort of the time and the whole thing of what I recall from those years.
Yeah, I'm glad that you do recall that. Yeah, Dave had a hold on young women of the, I guess, early to mid and late 1990s. There was this like iconic, we've talked about it on the Throwback Podcast poster of Dave, always just Dave. Yeah, that's how he was described. It was like, I remember it as a black and white photo of him on stage in concert holding a guitar. And it was just like, it was in 25% of dorm rooms, and both men and women. He kind of crossed over. I never got it. I've never been like a jam band guy. And that band, the Dave Matthews Band, has the record for the most times I've been invited to a concert without going to it.
And I just mentioned 3 jam bands essentially. So.
Well, that's fine. I don't judge it. It's just it's not necessarily my thing in that regard. But like the idea of like, I like several Dave Matthews Band songs, but like the idea of like, oh yeah, you got to hear it, dude. Live, he does a 27-minute version of Ants Marching. I'm like, I don't need it. I'm gonna pass. And why is there always an extra ticket floating around? I'm like, what does that mean? Anyway, Throwback Podcast. Check it out. It's always fun.
You do it remotely now, right? Obviously, because Bob is very busy and all over the place. But I think what I remember about when I joined the show once was that we did it in your garage, and it got quite boozy.
Yeah, we had one of your shows that you did with us. We had to put into permanent storage because I think we had hit the point where doing a Coldplay album and talking about ex-girlfriends, it was like, I don't know if this is entertaining. This is leaning toward more just morose. So let's put this one in the old vault.
We taped 2, and it was the second one, the Coldplay one, that went off the rails, to put it.
The first one, I believe, is The Life and Times of Marc Sessler, and that's available somewhere. It's out there on the internet somewhere. That's all I can promise you. And Bob, if you're listening, that's all you get in terms of a plug. In other news, hooray! The Tennessee Titans introduced new uniforms for the 2026 season on Thursday. The uniforms are part of a rebranding campaign ahead of the Titans' move to the new Nissan Stadium, which is set to be completed in February 2027. Ooh, we have a statement from Old Strunko. Old Strunko comes out of the weeds. Oh, baby, here we go. This is an actual statement from Old Strunko.
Okay.
We are incredibly proud to unveil this new look for the Tennessee Titans. Our uniforms and logo represent the strength of our history, the passion of our fans, and the bold future we're building together. Today is about honoring over 65 years of our organization while confidently stepping into the next chapter. And I couldn't be more excited for our players, our city, and our fans to wear this identity with pride. All right, so
she kept her many
malarkey.
She kept her many lusts and addictions at bay during that statement.
She did.
I'm quite proud of her.
She did. I'm not going to enter into this conversation again because I've already said my piece on this many times. And I think part of the problem might be too many people that follow the sport now aren't old enough to understand what this Tennessee Titans organization stole from the city of Houston. And if everyone's okay with it, if it's an idea of the statute of limitations is passed and it doesn't matter that the Titans could steal the identity of the Houston Oilers after moving the team, despite what the people of Houston think, that's great. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, right? Like, and I can't sit here and make a big deal of it because, like, I don't want to be the old guy on the porch saying, like, the Houston Oilers were a special team to the city of Houston and the colors of that uniform were iconic. And the Titans have been trying to bite off that for years and years with the throwback uniforms that were always roundly rejected by people who understood what was actually happening, including J.J. Watt prominently. So now they've just gone and done the inevitable, which is just steal it permanently and do quite, moderate changes to, obviously the logo's different, but just completely stealing and pillaging the Houston Oilers look. So since nobody, half or maybe even 75% of football fans at this point don't even know that the Houston Oilers existed, I guess it's fine because it is a very fetching color scheme. And I understand why the Titans have been trying to steal it for years. And now they have it. And the people who know this is wrong. And the people that don't, which is a growing number by year, because that's the passage of time, who don't know and don't care, And even worse, the people like maybe the producer who's ignorant to the fact that this is stealing. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'll move out of the way. I will never say another word about this, but you know where I stand.
Justin?
Well, I understand the argument that this is stealing, but it's hard to steal something that you own already, right? The Adams family owns this color scheme, owns the Oilers branding, and there are elements of the Tennessee Titans branding that were brought into this that were always there, like the light blue. It's been tweaked very minorly, but now the light blue is the prominent color instead of being the secondary color. And the red accent, which was always part of the Titans look, is now the real secondary color. And the navy has receded into this sort of third color accent. But they already owned all this stuff. And I'll just read you a couple of tweets that came out over the weekend because obviously Houston Texans fans were in a tizzy over all of this. This is from the great John McClain, who's been covering Houston sports for, I don't know, since before I was born. I'm going to read two tweets from him. Before and after Bob McNair was awarded his expansion franchise, he told me on multiple occasions how he wanted his team to be called the Texans. He wanted the Texans to forge their own identity, build their own legacy, and create their own history. He wasn't interested in the Oilers' name or colors because those belonged to Bud Adams and his family. More from John McClain. Bob McNair was an Oilers fan. He had season tickets to Oilers games for decades. Bud Adams got Commissioner Paul Tagliabue to give him in writing that no team other than the Oilers, who would become the Titans in 1999, would ever be able to use the Oilers' name or colors ever. And the Titans were the Oilers in Tennessee. They were the Tennessee Oilers for 2 seasons. So as much as this is using Houston's history, it's also going back to their own roots when they first came to Tennessee and reestablishing that with a new direction, with colors that are objectively better than the two-tone blue the Titans have been rocking for 26 years. And so I don't understand all the fuss. Should the Raiders give back the Raiders to Oakland or even L.A.? Should the Rams have not been the Rams when they moved to St. Louis? I mean, you can do this for so many different teams. The Browns is different because the Browns, similar to Bud Adams making sure he owned the Oilers history, the Browns fought for their logo, colors, branding, and history. So you can't compare those two. And I just don't understand why everyone makes such a big deal about this one team.
I'll say last thing on it,
and not the rest
Justin.
of the teams.
I'll say one thing and then I'll be done with it. And Mark, whatever you have to say, then it's your runway. What you're getting wrong is that owners don't own that color scheme and that uniform. The fans of Houston own it. And that is what it's about. Now, and so you could choose to side with owners, billionaires, oligarchs, or the fans who had their hearts ripped out. And if there was any sensitivity by this Titans organization to how many people are heartbroken by the loss of the Houston Oilers, they would bugger off and cook up their own, not just name, but color scheme. But this one is going to be more profitable for them, and God bless them.
It's more personal for fans who have suffered the kind of loss in any of the major sports of watching like the Seattle Supersonics move, right? I'm not going to always go up Browns Avenue on this, but it's very painful when you're young and you're in love with a sports team and an owner, and money and greed get in the way and relocate them. Like, I just can't describe going back to that time period because the Browns moved the year before the Oilers did. And it was such a major, massive sports story because it would be in a way kind of like the Yankees moving. Like the Cleveland Browns had been around forever. And people forget about that because of their disastrous run since they've returned. But it was like a cataclysmic like sports moment where like, wait, this can happen. And everyone had eyes on it. A year later, the Oilers basically go and do the same thing. The same thing is done to their fan base. And it was a little bit more of a wet fart because I think that there was just exhaustion around the topic, but off they go. And I see, Justin, just for someone your age who came in post Houston Oilers, and your identity and interaction and link to the team is different. But I grew up, and I'm not trying to be the old guy on the porch either, but that old AFC Central with the Steelers, Bengals, Browns, and Oilers, I grew up hating the Oilers more than all of them because they were like a run and shoot, Jerry Glanville, Warren Moon type team. But I think of someone else that would not agree with this, and it would be Chris Wessling, who wrote that Love You Blue column about the intense passion that the city of Houston had for Bum Phillips, for that team, for Earl Campbell. Like, it was a type of football team, and I'd say the same under Jerry Glanville too. They had a certain identity and kind of a Texas swag to them that is just simply gone in today's professional football. And so Dan is right that this argument is going to be more and more lost because the years go by and the current fan base that is not doing it to the old fan base, but they kind of are, or they're all part and parcel of it, does not have the sensitivity of what was happening back in 1996. Understood, but also ashamed, because it's like we're losing. You're going to keep losing things in life. And the Houston Oilers were a very special part of pro football that we have lost forever.
This is a great excerpt from what Wes wrote in that great piece, which you could look up. If you Google it, Love You Blue plus Chris Wessling. He called Love You Blue the late 1970s Love You Blue Houston Oilers. Professional football's definitive example of a torrid love affair between a city and a team after years of humiliation and embarrassment, in which the Oilers were cast as the NFL's laughingstock franchise in the early 1970s. The Bum Phillips, Earl Campbell era ignited a frenzy unparalleled in NFL history. And he included, Wes, a quote from All-Pro linebacker Robert Brazil. You ever heard of a welcome city? Everybody knows about a welcome wagon, but this was a welcome city. It gave me chills, boss, every time I think about that. And that was a long time ago. And that's, I think that's what Mark and I are getting at. And like, Justin, like, just from a, pull it back, if I'm just a Titans fan, those are nice uniforms. Like, what they rolled out was really nice. And like, younger people don't have to be plugged in on this, especially younger people that didn't know what happened in Houston. Like I'm not angry about or at anything. It's about a damn laundry. But like, the idea of young fans just being pumped that their teams have, during an exciting time for the Titans, now have these new uniforms. It's just like a little bit of the more broad ignorance to what actually has happened here. And that's all, man. I'm happy for you, Justin, and happy for the Titans fans, and everybody should check out the Titans podcast, because I'm sure you broke it down with great fervor. And so that's that angle as well.
Yep, Friday show, hour and a half on the Titans' new uniforms.
Old Cranko, by the way, Kaharski, like my feed was like inundated. He had like 700 tweets about it. Here's more credit I'll give to the Titans. Sneaky, great time to roll out your uniforms.
They did a good job with that.
End of free agency week when everyone's plugged in, but all of a sudden there's really nothing going on. So you dropped it there. So because that kind of thing is going to go very well or very poorly. Because if it's consensus, like, wait a minute, this redesign looks terrible. Like, it is a PR time bomb happening in real time inside your building. And they pulled that off well. And I think they look good. But Dan and I are just doing the Dan and I things on this topic. And that's... What are the two Muppet characters in the top level?
Oh, the old dudes? Yeah.
Stafford or whoever. Yeah. All right, let's move on. The Jets. The Jets finalizing a trade on Monday that will send quarterback Justin Fields to the Chiefs pending a physical, per ESPN sources. Other teams were interested, but Fields' preference was to go to Kansas City. The Chiefs are sending a 6th-round pick in 2027 to the Jets for Justin Fields. I believe Fields was owed, I think, $10 million is the number this season, and the Jets are absorbing, I think, 3 or 3.5 of that, or excuse me, 7.
All but 3, I think it is.
Yeah, 7, and the Chiefs are getting the rest. It's basically a flip of what the Jets did with Geno Smith and the Raiders, so it kind of all comes out even in the wash. And of course, Justin Fields has a chance to be the QB1 for the Chiefs, depending, Mark, on the rehab and recovery of Patrick Mahomes, who tore his 2 ligaments in his knee, including his ACL late in the regular season.
I mean, it's like there's 5 or 6 teams out there where if quarterback on an up and down journey lands there, you just like it because it's Andy Reid in this case, and it's a chance to maybe play early. That's not what Chiefs fans, they don't want to see him at all, but it's a place where you can probably reset your career a little bit. His issue is just like no quarterback has been sacked more, it feels like, on a weekly basis than him. Like, how can he improve as a player? How can he learn from Reid and everyone else around him? Holmes, like, I like the fit, but ideally for the NFL season, you don't want to see Fields.
It's so funny because he is actually living the almost too beat for beat the life of the, I don't know, failed is a cruel word, but the former first round pick where it hasn't gone to plan. And there's a script to it all, and he's following it. Like, you're drafted, in this case, he was drafted by the Chicago Bears as the face of the franchise. Year 1 goes poorly. So what does the team do? They get rid of the coach. They bring in a new coach. In that case, it was Nagy, and then Eberflus came in. Year 2, he enters year 2 still as the unquestioned QB1. Still a lot of optimism, but it's still not happening. And now it's year 3, and now the second coach that you played for is under fire. And as the coach doesn't want to go down with a sinking ship, this is usually when you get benched. And I believe that's what happened with Justin Fields in year 3. And then the organization's ready to move on. So then you begin this nomadic journey where you enter the wilderness and you change teams. And either with the next team, you get a second shot to be a QB1 for that team, or you enter yourself into like a camp battle situation. And that's what happened with Fields in Pittsburgh, where it was him and Russ Wilson, and he started the season, and then Russ Wilson got healthy and took over. And then he's on the move again, and he finds a spot that needs a quarterback, and there's not competition. Enter his New York Jets phase. So he goes in, he gets one last crack at his QB1 without anybody in his way. That doesn't go well. So then you have to then phase into what's the next part of your career. Okay, I'm not going to be in the mix to be a starter anymore for a full season, but maybe I could catch on with a team that has an injury situation and I have an opportunity to play. And that's what's happened here, where he might play. And even if he doesn't play and Mahomes is ready for week 1, which he wants to be, you are in a place with a quote unquote QB guru and a healthy offense like Andy Reid is in that runs, and perhaps you could reset your value to try to find your next opportunity. So he is on that journey, Mark.
And look at this offseason. Like, if he is forced to come in what would be on the Chiefs high octane situations, maybe late in the year, you can be Malik Willis. I mean, we know more about Justin Fields, and he's not. There's no mystery around him to the same degree. But if you win a couple of those games, you're back on the top of the mountain as a potential starter next offseason for someone. I don't know how it'll work out, but I think you described it well. I mean, if I'm Justin Fields, I am just living in Airbnbs because it feels like you're bound to be moving again in 6 months.
He doesn't want to long-term be a Chief. If he has aspirations still to have a successful NFL career, this is a pit stop for him and one that maybe could pivot to whatever comes next. And I think it's interesting, like in the current NFL landscape, there are 2 quarterbacks that immediately come to mind in Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold that are proof that you can go on that journey. And as long as you just kind of stay in the picture, opportunity will present itself eventually, and then you'll have maybe another chance down the road. So Fields is now in that world where it's like he's run out of opportunities to be the guy, so now he needs to just wait for his chance, and maybe he could reestablish himself again. And that's where he's at. All right. Real quick. Dallas Goedert has re-signed with the Eagles, 1 year, $7 million. So he stays with Philly, and they have that. They're basically running back that tight end room, both Goddard and Munt and Calcaterra. That whole group is all staying together. Darnell Mooney, the wide receiver, signs a 1 year deal with the Giants. Trey Lance signs a 1 year deal with the Chargers. Speaking of hanging around, Trey Lance. I'm hanging around.
It's like the fourth example on this show.
Number 3 overall pick. It has not worked out. I've bounced around. I'm just waiting for an opportunity to see. Certainly, he's not the future with the Chargers, but maybe he could leverage that into one day another opportunity. The Colts are re-signing veteran tight end Mo Alley-Cox to a 1-year deal. And this just came across the wire before we started. The Niners signed wide receiver Christian Kirk to a 1-year, $6 million deal. How about that, Cecily? Let's add Christian Kirk to the list of sneaky good signings potentially in a Kyle Shanahan offense.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them, Juwan Jennings out the door. Brandon Ayuk went out the door a long time ago. It's Ricky Pearsall, Mike Evans, and then before this Christian Kirk signing, which I do like, Demarcus Robinson was like your third starter. So they got a lot of unproven guys too, but it was a light wideout room, which I know when Mike Evans say I'm the missing piece, it's like you need to stay healthy and be a large piece because this isn't the same group of players from a couple of years ago when it was impossible to figure out how to stop all of them at once.
It's smart too because we all love Mike Evans, but at this stage, the idea of him playing 17 games is a bit of a stretch. Like he hasn't been able to stay healthy the last couple of years. He's not getting younger. They love Ricky Pearsall, but there is no evidence that he's been able to, that he has the body to stay on the field on a regular basis. Brandon Ayuk's out the door, right? So then it's like we need to have some depth in this room, and I feel like they're still missing something though, right? Like I feel like maybe there's something else coming here that's going to a younger player perhaps to really solidify that group as they are obviously in all-in mode. Like it's funny, like when you think about teams that got all in, like we got to do it right now. The Rams, whenever you think, you kind of default to a team with an older quarterback, right, or an older core. The Niners, even though they have a young quarterback in Purdy, you have a generational running back in Christian McCaffrey that only has so much time left at this point as he's ticked past age 30. Mike Evans, obviously, same thing. George Kittle, same thing. Trent Williams, if he's still there, same thing. Like they are as in it to win it right now as the Rams are.
Well, I think they feel like more than the Rams, they have an expiration date because you just mentioned there's a lot of age on that offense. And they're in a division where it's like your task is not to be the third place team in the NFC West.
All right.
Won't be easy.
That's what's happening in the news. Cue up that Hollywood music. I feel like it's only fair that Justin, we might have to play him out, but Justin gets one last chance to rebut all that Tennessee Titan uniform talk. Let's give Justin the floor before the broadcast television. As it is, Justin, just be aware that they do have to stay on schedule, but your final chance to rebut all of the criticism levied your way by the old guys on the show.
Well, two things. Number one, the Texans have a new team. I'm sorry, the city of Houston has a new team. They're called the Texans. So, stop being obsessed with your old team or be a Titans fan. And I get it. I was kind of there when Mavs traded Luka Doncic in the middle of the night. I felt like my world was ripped away. Oh, here's Cooper Flagg. It's like, okay, I'm not quite as excited about Cooper Flagg because he's great, but he's not Luka. So I do have an understanding, an empathy there. But also, it's been 26 years. You have a new team that's better than the Titans, at least in the last 5 years, making the playoffs. Go cheer for the Texans and just stop obsessing over us. Second thing is that the Oilers' history and the players associated with it are now associated with the Titans. Warren Moon was introducing Cam Ward and giving him his jersey number. And Robert Brazil, who you mentioned, Wes, quoted in that article, was inducted into the Titans Ring of Honor in 2018. So, can we stop obsessing over the ex-girlfriend?
Heed the call, everybody.